Oh,
wonderful. So we can start with David Keats now. That'd be fantastic.
Hi. Well, why don't we open by you explaining a little bit about the film and who you play in it?
Nice. Well, Pray for the Devil is a film about many things, deep things. Trauma, history, secrets. Sister Anne has a skill set that not many people have. And I identify, my character is Father Quinn. I'm the professor of exorcism at the Boston School of Exorcists in America. Don't have the postcode, but it's there. And I'm passionate about the art form, and what I see is another person who's incredibly disciplined and very good at it. So I decide that it might be wise, I allow her to come into the class, and then we see something happen. And I realise that actually we better train her for her own good. And then she just is extraordinarily good at it. And you see the conflict it causes within the church, and you also see the enactment of scenarios regarding her own life and what's going on in the world. So yeah, it's deep. It's very good in terms of, for me, the best literature has sort of resonance, and it does resonate with me. So I was really happy to do it, very proud of it. Yeah. Cool. That explains it. Sort of. No spoilers, was there? No.
And Samantha, have you expressed
Hello.
that? No. So you filmed during COVID, and you mentioned that you guys were very, very safe. You didn't go out to bars or pubs or anything like that. Did you do anything on set as a collective to blow off steam, or what you would have done at a pub?
Oh, well, what did we do on set? Yeah, well, we hung out. Yeah, we hung out a lot. I always carry my trumpet, literally, so I blow out steam, literally. I find that's really useful for me. That's one of mine. That's how I get my voice to work. And we just became incredibly close and really focused on the script, which became the main, which it should be anyway, but often things can distract. So that period was really interesting because we did a read-through on Zoom, and we really, I loved Zoom in a way because people gave space to speak, because you can't just, which actors allegedly can do occasionally, apparently, not going to name names, Colin. So we sort of adapted to it, and I think that's the key to the game anyway, adaptation. Jacqueline and Posey created an incredible relationship, which was really key for the piece. And that, again, just allowed that time for focus. I got really close to the Mr. Ralph and Father Dante. We really sort of spent time together, so that relationship worked. And of course, I had a little bit of time with Ben. And Ben was an extraordinary man, because apparently he used to write the hits for the Bulgarian Frank Sinatra, because he spoke Bulgarian. So that was a whole side of him we didn't. So we just got to know each other and the crew. It became very intimate, really, in a good way, sort of healthy way, as opposed to the bar and whatever happens in those situations. A lot of steam was let off, but it was good steam. Really. Okay, next question, quick.
Daryl? Would you like to ask a question?
Go down.
Yeah, I was just wondering, obviously due to the nature of the subject material, if there's any sort of pushback that you've experienced from the church.
From the church? No, I haven't actually, and I think it was interesting last night. There was a sadness when they sort of misspelt the name, Pray for the Devil, really, because that is literally the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here. I have spirit. I'm a spiritual man. So I'm very mindful of other people's feelings, but I think actually this is one of those wonderful moments where there's a conflagration of thought, because with Virginia Madsen's character, you're looking at psychiatry and psychology, and from my perspective, there is the unknown, and the two sort of meet. So, no, we haven't had any at all, and I think Daniel's a good director. We're sensitive and respectful of that, and I think that was really cool, because you could just easily find yourselves just picking a side. I don't think that's great storytelling, to be honest. So I hope we haven't offended. We went with absolute intention to be clued up and educated as much as we could be. I mean, it's a very difficult subject, but yeah, we don't take the mickey, no way. So if we have offended, I can assure you that wasn't our intention. But tough.
Yeah, so you've been involved in a lot of projects over the years. What do you get recognised for the most?
What do I get recognised for the most? It's really interesting. It depends who's approaching me. Now I've got a game where I sort of work out what the person's going to say. Actually.
What would this guy say?
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen Resident Evil, yes,
Yeah.
but I do know you more from as Water Still from Arrow.
An Arrow, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been doing it a while now. I mean, I feel like I've been doing it for 5 minutes, you know, but what do I get recognised for the most? It's probably the death in Resident Evil, and then the Bond, because it's just the size of the orchestra, the size of the audience, global audience. Obviously, my hair's changed. I miss my hair. And then sometimes it's CBeebies. It's like a mum who saw CBeebies when she was trapped at home. So it's very diverse, but it's a wonderful thing because you do get to sort of spend a little bit of time with people and chat, not make their day, but you know, hopefully bring a little light. I'm not too serious, so it's lovely to have people approach you, say hello, and sometimes there's that one where they approach you and go hi, and you go hello, and they don't really know why they know you, and that's, you see it, and then it starts to dawn on them, and I just literally say, don't worry, I've been in your front room while you had your feet up having a cup of tea, because they literally think they know you. So it is that too, but you just got to let them off the hook. And then there's also the one where the guy comes over and brings out a piece of paper, you get a pen out, and he goes, can you show me the way to this place? And that was a wonderful moment as well. He didn't recognise me at all. I was getting ready to sign autograph. If you didn't want. Vagaries is my job. Lord, mad.
Lovely, Russell.
I've got to say, that guy must have been even more horrified when he said, I've been in your front room, mate, don't worry.
He was here, yeah, just leave it there, I was about to go there, but don't do that, I'll say something else.
I mean, obviously, you've been involved in all different kinds of stuff,
Yep.
but a lot of it has a fantasy, horror sort of genre feel to it. Can you talk a little bit about why that kind of storytelling appeals to us all so much, and what, out of all the great stuff you've done, is perhaps unique about this film and this story?
Well, what appeals to me about fantasy and horror is I get to work with people like Paul Anderson, and, you know, incredible brains, you know, nerds, really nerds. I'm a nerd, just like everybody else, and just to say Paul's about to do a job, he's got the rights to 3 of George R.R. Martin's books, and he's about to start filming as we speak, and that's really exciting, because put those two together, you know, Paul will take it to a dystopian future. And from the point of view of science fiction, fantasy, and the like, I can be in it, because often with regards to casting on sort of costume dramas, historical costume dramas, apparently I wasn't around, which isn't actually necessarily true, which we're looking to fill put the gaps back. But there's something outside about science fiction, fantasy, that world, and as an outsider, I fit. It's a bit like going down to Comic-Con and seeing everybody down there right now and just going, here we are, this is us, this is who we are, you know who we are. So I feel very at home in that world. And I treat it seriously as well, it's not a game. I mean, we have to address issues that sometimes are too difficult to address. It's put face on, because it's blame. It's like, you can't do that. So how do you do it? Well, you take one step back, put it into a narrative, into a story, and explain how to do it. I come from drama therapy. That's how I started in this game, and literally working in psychiatric hospitals, where you would get people to maybe elucidate and allow their fears and their worries to come out through their own stories or through a fantasy. But you stand next to them, you don't stand in front of them. You stand next to them and tell the story. And as I said earlier, before laws, there were only stories. And that is the key. Everybody talks about controlling the narrative. So we're out of control. We can do whatever we want. Ursula Le Guin, came back from Monolas, things. I mean, these are really important things to me because I sometimes have felt that child. Harry Potter, you know, whatever. You know, we are exploring archetypes and we are exploring our troubles and our fears and our anxieties. In life, we're trying to manage fear, whether it be ours or other people's. And we try to do that by understanding